your locks are really pretty.
Thank you. All right, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Model Talk Tuesdays. I am a lady named Pearl, the founder of a Lady Named Pearl Leadership Academy. And I have one of my amazing graduates for me. And you all, if you hear anything in the background, I'm also at the lovely Janice Wilborn studio, boutique. So Jazzy, how is that background noise? Is it a little loud?
Or no, I actually can hear you very well. Okay. I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. So let me get back to the scheduled program. So I am with the amazing Jazzy Courtney. We met. When did we meet, Jazzy? What year was that? 2014? 2015?
Yes, 14, yes. I came to your casting call to be in your program, actually. So yes.
Yeah, so you went from being a student to being an assistant professor to being a goddaughter. So, yes, what a journey. I must say that you are an amazing light, Jazzy, in our program. And you all, the reason why we became godmother and goddaughter, because Jazzy and I have this real relationship with each other where we cut back and forth on each other to bring out the best in each other, right?
Right.
Yeah, so you just had an amazing fashion show. Had a standing ovation from the audience.
But yes, it was so overwhelming, but it was like a joy. So yes.
Yes. So tell us about this fashion show. First of all, I love the name of it. It's called Rebirth. So just take us back to the beginning, because from my understanding, you've been working these fashion shows for 7 years. So tell me, how did you become a part of this entity, and then bring us to today?
Okay. So honestly, I even started off modeling when I was 7 years old. That whole thing that they had in the mall, they're like, oh, let's take your picture and stuff. And I was like, looking back, I was like, okay, I've been doing this for a minute. Jumped out of it, jumped back in when I was 12 years old. I started modeling originally with Amari and Mari. She had this whole thing about natural hair, showing young girls how to embrace themselves. So I was with her. With Amari and Mari, I started actually hoping to creative direct and model coach her girls. At the time, I was 13. I've been with her till I was about 14, I want to say. Yeah. And then my mom, she started, being a momager. She started doing a whole bunch of research on different modeling programs that could help me pretty much better my career. At the time, I wasn't aware of like the whole model requirement. I did want to go far with it. But so then she found you. She found Pearl's Leadership Academy, well, at the time, Pearl's modeling school. So I went, and it was crazy because when I first went, you weren't selected, but I actually didn't get selected.
I remember, Jazzy, and I was thinking about you. But go ahead. Yeah.
Right. I did not get selected my first time. And then I was like, dang, I really wanted to know. It looked fun. My mom's like, well, maybe there's a reason behind it. And the next day she's like, well, guess who called me? And then she told me that you called her. It was like, well, one of the girls weren't able to do it. And, she's able to come back. And I took that opportunity and I ran with it. So then I entered Pearl School of Modeling, where I actually gained majority of my my experience. So it's gonna sound so funny because I'm talking to you about you, but
let me hear it. I need to hear.
Right. That's where I gained majority of my experience, because when I first attended, I'm gonna speak it in like third person. Okay. But when I first attended Pearl School of Modeling, I wasn't really sure exactly what it was that I wanted to do. I was just this driven young lady where it's like, I know I want to be successful. Like I want to be a chef, and I want to be an actor, and I want to be a model, and all these different things, and have all these different talents. And you're like, okay, well, let's find one and focus on that one, and let's capitalize off of that. And I said, okay, you're right. So within that, I was still trying to figure out what it is that I wanted to do, but I was like, okay, I'm really good at modeling. But then that's when all the requirements came for, the model world, the real model world, you're fashion for a model. So I unfortunately did not meet a lot of those requirements. And we saw that even though I had a great walk and I was good at it, just don't meet the requirements. And that's okay. And I understood that. So from there, I still had I still had a passion for fashion in the model industry. So I'm just like, how else can I fit into it? And pretty much.
And for those of you that are watching, I don't mean to interrupt Jazzy. I just want to say she was an A student. She was that student where it was like, here, done. here done. So she was pearl of the class. She was at the top of the class. So I just want the audience to know that you were on your game while you were still trying to figure out what you wanted to do.
Thank you. I did. I graduated valedictorian actually. and then originally you didn't have it by the semester. So I ended up coming back just asking like, hey, can I help? Like just to be here. So yeah, I was like, I didn't want to leave. Like I was learning so much, even though she was teaching like the same curriculum, like she was changing it, as it was going along, she knew. So, I wanted to be there. So pretty much even while I was still there at Pro School of Modeling, I met Mike Robb of MGR Enterprises and decided to start going ahead and get model management. So within Mike is who I met Shay. And Shay is the CEO and founder of Scripted One clothing line, as well as Pitch Black Fashion Week, which is dedicated to a young lady whose life got taken due to domestic violence. So we've been doing that platform for about 5 years. So pretty much Shay has been doing this for about 20 years, I want to say. She's been designing for 20 years, couture pieces. She's been at Small Boutique Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, like all the fashion weeks. And she kind of took me under her wing. We kind of had like that, that little sister and big sister bond, because I was always there to help. So I was pretty much doing Pro School Modeling, NJR, Scripted One clothing line, and just kind of like peeking in wherever I can into the fashion world. Like I said, I had stopped modeling already. So within that, I got my first opportunity with Shay. I started off working her front door at the casting call to cast the models for the show. And then the model coach originally dropped out for the show, or not dropped out, he moved to another state actually. So they're like, oh my gosh, we don't have a model coach. So I'm like, I know I'm only 14, but I have experience, like I'm at Pearl School of Modeling. I actually coordinated these shows. I did Bronner Brothers. We're like, okay, let's give it a try. And the very first year of Pitch Black Fashion Week, I coordinated or creative directed that show. And then from there, that's what I've been doing. So as far as the rebirth, to answer the question on that came along when pretty much in the fashion industry, fashion shows or fashion weeks, they have different designers compiled into 1 week normally, which is what that's what she was going for. However, it became a little overwhelming with COVID and everything. And there were still people that wanted the platform because, like I said, the message, a lot of people were drawn to the platform because of the message, domestic violence. So she didn't want to stop it. So instead, she said, okay, let's not make it complicated. Let's continue it. Let's just focus on Scripted as a brand, because she's super versatile. She has the couture pieces. She has swimwear. She also has ready to wear. And then there were so many people asking about one of the dinner galas that I decided to keep going, which is the one that you got nominated for. It actually won Business of the Year, the Black Excellence Dinner Gala Awards.
And so from there, thank you for honoring us with that.
Of course, I had to. So I was like, okay, well, let's focus on Scripted. And she realized she wasn't able to put as much into her brand because she was so focused on the other designers and, creating the show. So I said, let's focus on this. And, what can you say? Like, you don't want to call the show rebrand. Like, what do you want to call it? Like, she's like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, something, it's new, like it's fresh. I'm like, rebirth. Let's call it the rebirth.
I love it.
Literally, let's call it the rebirth.
So much energy. That's so strong. You get what I'm saying? Right. Because I feel like we continuously go through rebirths, or you know what I'm saying, like you have to go through a rebirth to get to where you want to go.
Where you want to go. Exactly. Now, originally I called it the Renaissance because at one time, if you look up the definition of Renaissance, that was actually a time where modern art was introduced to the world or something of that nature. So let's call it Renaissance. But then it pretty much in that definition it said the rebirth of modern art. So then she said, look, then that's how we came up with the rebirth together. So within that, I've been working with designers and for designers for 7 years, including her. And I was like, why does it never cross my mind to start a clothing line? Like, and I'm like, I want to, I really do. I just don't really have the sewing experience per se. And I don't really see myself taking out time to do that. So I've been working with Shay pretty much, like, I'm not gonna say like for free, but like, collabing and stuff with her for all these years. But in exchange for that, I've been getting experience. So Shay literally sewed my entire line with at no cost. She hand sewn all of my pieces. It took me 6 months to design everything. It took her.
Not
Shay
machine, not machine.
Well, no. Yes, some of
Okay.
them, but some of them were still hands
Right.
on.
She still had to hand stitch.
Yeah,
some
she was
things.
there
Yeah.
with me with the whole process. Like she literally, like whatever I didn't like, she had no problem redoing it. But it literally took me six to 8 months to actually design everything, like on my, draw it out. And then it took her 1 week to physically make everything. So
that's talent right there. That's a lot of experience.
20 years.
Yes.
So I was just like, oh my gosh. So pretty much that's how that came about. As far as the show, she did technically make all of the pieces herself. I just designed my actual line.
No, absolutely. Well, let's check out a clip of your rebirth show. So let's pull this up. And you all, this is on her Instagram. Y'all had a whole vibe going, Jazzy. Yes.
Leave me out of comments, leave me out of nonsense. Speaking out of context, people need some content. Niggas trying to keep up, shit is not a contest. Whipping bands concept, heaven sent, God sent. At least that's what my mom says. Proof is in the progress, money's not an object. Busy than a motherfucker, you know how my job get. Barking up the wrong tree, you know how the dogs get. Haven't fallen off yet. Come with a classic, they come around years later and say it's a sleeper. The ears are real, the petty is real. I chose my ex for a feature. Deposit the money to Brenda Leticia, Alinda Felicia. She came for me twice.
All right. So when you see that, I know when I was there and when I saw the crowd's reaction, it just made me really proud, Jazzy. It made me really proud. It felt like, just I'm getting older. You get what I'm saying? In terms of, you get what I'm saying? I'm like, the next generation is here creating. You get what I'm saying? And it's just like, I feel like it's a tree. We all pull from, each other. So it just makes me really proud. So when you see that clip, of your latest project, how does that make you feel? Like, what are you thinking?
It really makes me feel good. It really does. Now, of course, like, y'all don't know, but I actually creative directed and coordinated the whole show. So all of even the choreography, like I hired a choreographer, but I still gave her the ideas. Okay, I want it set up like this, you know what I'm saying? Just give me the logistics of it because I'm not a dancer. But seeing it, I am not gonna lie to you. I actually saw so many flaws, but everyone's like, what are you talking about? Like, what? But that's the perfectionist in me. And I get that from you and my mom. Because I'm like, even though everybody else says, it looks good, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be appreciative for it. Because I'm the only one that knows where there were any mess ups, honestly. But other than that, it does make me happy because, like I said, for 7 years, I was following other people's vision. And, I'm like, which I didn't have a problem doing and helping out what they want to do and base that around their vision. But to really be able to actually see what I want to do really come into play was like, wow, like I was really able to say, no, we're not doing that. Yes, we're gonna do that. Like it feels great. It feels really good.
And that's what makes you unstoppable. That's what makes you powerful as a young person, Jazzy, because you put in the work. Like I can say of all of the students I had, you have put in the most work. You get what I'm saying in terms of like learning the trade, giving instruction to others. You've worn so many hats from, so no one can take that from you. Like you're unstoppable. You're unstoppable. You're unstoppable. And then the other piece I like, yes. And then the other piece I like about you, Jazzy, is that you're daring. You get what I'm saying? This stuff, I'm like, Lord, and I remember your mom, I was like, I actually like it. Let her be. Cause she was like, Miss Pearl, is that okay? I'm like, let her be. Like, that's freedom. So I love that freedom that you have too, Jazzy. All right. So what's next for you in terms of, so you just released a clothing line. Is there a website for people that want to order the clothing? So what's next in that next chapter?
So in that next chapter, I pretty much did go ahead and do the clothing line. The website is because this show has been like driving me crazy. I literally was like sitting last night working on my website. Like, I don't even have a website for this stuff yet. Like, oh my God. But so many people were coming up to me after the show, like, hey, I want this piece, I want this piece, I want this piece. And I'm like, okay. But because they're also handmade, I wasn't so upset about the website because it's like, well, technically that's not inventory anyway, that's kind of custom pieces. So luckily I'm pretty much just waiting 2 weeks to get all of my footage back from the show. That'll be my professional pictures that I use for my website. I went ahead, already set up a photo shoot so I can have pictures on the website, and I'll just more so have inquiry forms until I'm able to get in the amount of inventory that I want to have in. But in the meantime, it was considered a collaboration with Strictly One clothing line. So I just have people, I'm really just like making people's custom garments, but I already have like a list of lines that I plan on coming out with by next summer. So like it's all in order already. But it's just like, you know, like with timing and everything, it's like, oh my gosh. Because I also, outside of this was my first fashion. I still have, you know, Balayza Beauty, which is still my 9 to 5, my real actual job. Like, you know how some people have their businesses, their side gig or their side job. Like, this is my real 9 to 5. This is how I make a living.
Ooh, let's talk about that. So you started Balayza Beauty as a project at Pearl School of Modeling, exactly. And now this is your full-time job. Let's talk about that because you have your baby Pearls, your little sister Pearls that are going to be watching this because they have to write a paper on the Model Talk Tuesdays. Okay. So let's talk about, yes. And you all, this is your big sister, Jazzy. So let's talk about you starting the business. And we all know as entrepreneurs, it's not an easy journey. You know what I'm saying? You have to, yeah. So let's talk about you kind of narrowing down what you want to do. You starting a business, having a house fire, having to regroup, going to strengthen your business, getting education. So kind of just give us a little bit of a journey of that.
Right. Okay. Like I said, I really originally had no idea what I wanted to do. My original plans was just like every other child, go to college, figure it out while you're there. Hopefully you figure it out while you're there. And it was like, okay. Unfortunately, like you said, when I was attending the school, this was in 2016, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. No, 2017 it happened. Okay. 2017, this was, I kind of had like regrouped as a student because something was telling me, even though I was teaching the prior year before that in 2016, I was like, something's telling me to regroup as a student because I did learn a lot in 2017. So pretty much we had that project. I'm like, what the heck am I going to do a project on? She's like, make a business. I'm like, make a business on what? And you were like, make a real business. I'm like, why do we have to make a real business? And this was like our second time doing this. The first one kind of flopped. I'm like, okay, that's not going to work. That's why you made us make a real one the second time. So I'm like, okay, what is it that I like to do? Had to make it by myself. Okay, I have eczema. Cool. Originally it was A72 organics because, you know, chores and clean up around the house. My mom always tell me, make sure you put the gloves on because, you know, you don't want it to hurt your skin. The chemicals will really mess up my skin, like really, really bad. I would have a bad reaction, have to go to the doctor, super bad. So I'm like, okay, I want to create like some cleaning products, you know, that won't harm my skin as much. And people that have that same problem as me, that was A72 organics. And then I had, why did I even come up with Balayza Beauty? Oh, my skin. I was like, well, I really want to go to school for dermatology eventually, maybe not now, but eventually, so I can learn more about my eczema because pretty much what they tell you is there's no cure for it. Like you can treat it, but there's no real cure for eczema. So I'm like, well, maybe I can, you know, help gear towards that. So it's like, okay, maybe I should start a skincare line. I knew absolutely nothing about skincare. I washed my face with everything that I'm completely against now as an esthetician, but it's crazy. But so I was looking at my bed. I'm like, okay, well, what can I call it? Like, what's Italian for skin? Like, or I was looking up skin in different languages and beauty in different languages, and then just trying to see what sounded good. So I found Balayza. I'm like, okay, that sound, you know, it looks weird. It's spelled Bellezza, but it's still pronounced Balayza. But I'm like, okay, how about I spell it how it sounds? And then Balayza is where it came from. So I'm big on no one having the same thing that I have. So I did research. I looked up Balayza, everything to make sure nobody else had it. And I'm like, okay, I got it. So then you told us we had to present it. So I went ahead and said, okay, what kind of products I want to offer? I originally started off doing cosmetics. Funny story, Rihanna Fenty Beauty wasn't out yet. It came out in 2017. I came out with this highlighter. I started looking at all these different videos of how to make highlighter. This is before the whole the big lip gloss craze where everyone was making lip gloss. So I was like, well, I can make lip glosses and, you know, toners and different little skin creams and stuff like that, body butters. So I had no idea Rihanna was coming out with this line. So I made this spray toner, right? It was super cute. It was gold. And it, you know, it shimmered. It was like a shimmer toner. So I was selling it for $12, and I was trying to sell it to my friends. Nobody wanted to buy it at the time. They're like, oh, you know, I don't put that on my skin yet. I know it's, you know, like, okay, it's fine. 3 weeks later, Rihanna drops Fenty Beauty. Trophy wife is $40. Next thing you know, everybody's coming back to you like, you still got the highlighter? Like, because it was like a dupe for that. You know what I'm saying? So I started doing my research, like, oh, okay. So that was that part. Then we went ahead and presented it at class, and then again at the show that we had. Sold out of all my products. Then I want to say that was in the summertime. That was August. October, you allowed us another opportunity to bid. I was automatically like, yes, I want to do it. Let's do it. I was creating products left and right, coming out with new formulas, figuring out what I can do, stuff like that. So I remember I had like 5 different products. I had the toners. I had some stick push-up highlighters, stuff that's not even on the market. Like I had these glitter toners. Well, it is now. I had shimmer toners, push-up highlighters that you can keep on your purse. I had compact highlighters. I had pigment powders. I had makeup remover. I had everything. So I remember I made all these products. I used to wake up at 6 a.m. to get on the bus to go to school. Okay. So I remember I woke up at 6 that morning. I didn't get home till about 4. I said, okay, I have from 4 until whatever time to create these products for the show tomorrow. So I stayed up to 6 the very next morning creating products. As soon as I went to sleep, a house fire had broke out. It was electric. It wasn't like nothing I did, but a house fire had broke out, pretty much burned down the half of my room, and we had to move out, and we were homeless for about 2 months. But needless to say, luckily, all of my products just so happened to already be in the car, and nothing had gotten damaged. So no one had even knew, but I pretty much came and did the show that same day. And then just right after the show, we went and stayed in the hotel. And it just was what it was. So from there, I was 16, and pretty much I just kept, left and right doing all. Well, no, I'm lying. I got discouraged after the show. I had lost everything. I didn't have anything. I didn't have any more products because the rest of the things that I did have was in the house, but it had to be thrown away. As I said, luckily the products I already had was in the car. Sold out all of my products at the show, but that was it. I was discouraged for about a year. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was still in high school, so let me just finish school. Went ahead, got my associate's degree in business management from high school. Actually, as soon as I graduated high school, I had I didn't get the degree, but I went ahead and got the credits. I pretty much had the credit staff degree. So then after that, people kept asking me about, the skincare. I'm like, what happened, girl? I'm like, I got a fire. It just didn't work out. And then this one girl that moved up to New York, she was still consistently asking me to make her products. And I was still like buying like small inventory just to make it just for her, because she said it was the only thing that worked for her. So I was like, okay. So then I got motivated to start it back up. And I did just that by, what did I do? I enrolled into esthetician school because I wanted to further my, my learning on skin and about all of this stuff. And I had got a facial for the first time. I'm like, oh, this is fun. Do I have to go to college for this? She's like, no, she explained it to me. And I'm like, okay. So then I went to school to become an esthetician. And
I remember that moment. Yes.
Right. And now here I am. I'm an esthetician.
A graduate, an esthetician with your business. Yeah, it's wonderful. And I see your marketing. Your marketing is like in your face. Boom. I'm like, okay, this is going to get people's attention. Yes. So no, that's awesome. That's awesome. So what pearls of wisdom would you give? 3 tips. And while I didn't prepare Jazzy on any of this, 3 tips that you would give someone that's looking to get into entrepreneurship. What will be 3 tips?
My very first tip, I don't want to forget it. Do not try to be the jack of all trades and the master of none. Find something that you really, really like. And it's not going to be an easy process. You're going to have ups and downs. Stick to that one thing if you're really passionate about it. Don't do it because, you're like, oh, they make this amount of money. If this is something I put it like this. If you can do it for free, that's something you really want to do. If you're willing to do it for free.
I got to clap on that because I'm willing to motivate and teach people with the school for free.
For free, literally. If you're willing to do it for free. Like, I literally love my clients. Like, they already know you bring somebody to me, I give you a free service. Like, I love that connection. I love to be able to see results. But anyway, so that's my first tip. My second tip is don't look at social media is a whole nother realm. So I'm trying to figure out how to actually word that. But social media is a whole nother realm. So try not to follow. I'm not gonna say don't follow others' footsteps, but you can use that as an inspiration. But make sure everyone's gonna have their own path. You know, you can't do exactly what this person did. It's not meant for you to do exactly what they did. It's you know, you kind of have to go through a trial and error to see what's for you. You know, I followed so many famous estheticians. Like, I'm gonna have this, and I'm gonna have that, you know, and I'm gonna work here. Originally, I wanted to go work at a spa when I got out of school. I had so many clients, I couldn't go work anywhere. I had to get a suite so that I could take my clients. I still to this day have not worked at a spa. I have my own practice. So you see what I'm saying? I was
wait. We gotta acknowledge that. That comes from hustle, Jazzy. Hustle, networking, you know,
right.
People wanting to support you. And as you mentioned, you would do it for free. So they feel that love. So going straight from school and not having to work for someone, that is like, so great. Good for you. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a major thing for me. And when I thought about it, I'm like, dang, I really want to go work here. And I'm like, I don't even have where am I going to fit a job into my schedule? I really work from 10 a.m. to 5:30 every day. And I have clients all day. Like, it's really that deep. So that's that second thing. Like I said, make sure you're not following anybody else's path. It's not meant for you. But and then my third thing is to listen. Granted, I do still, like I said, I didn't go work anywhere, but I still stay connected with all of my teachers. You are still considered a mentor, even though it's not in the skincare, but you get what I'm saying, as far as business wise, and how to conduct my business properly, especially being a young Black woman in this industry. Like, there's so many veterans, and I haven't gotten it yet, but I do see a lot of people. You can get hated on, but it's about listening to people and being able to learn and being humble about, your experience really with everything. Like I said, just that's pretty much it. So, yeah.
I love those tips. Those are three great tips. So, pick something that you would do for free. Focus on that one thing that you would do for free. What was number 2 again?
Number 2 was to, I feel like it wasn't like a real thing, but it was basically like making sure you're following your own path.
Okay,
try
yes,
not to like
being original,
right.
Finding your own authentic voice within your entrepreneurship.
Right.
Yes. And then third, the biggest thing. That's why we got 2 of these. That's why we got 2 of these. And they usually say the smartest person in the room is the quietest one.
Is the quietest.
Observing, learning, taking everything in. So, Jazzy, I want to thank you so much for your time. I am so proud of you. You are making me so proud, Jazzy.
Thank you.
For your Pearl sisters that want to connect with you, how can they connect with you?
Definitely. So my personal Instagram always available. Personal, but my personal Instagram is also my business Instagram. This is my passion. But at Jazzy Janae, so that's JAZZYJEN as in Nancy AE. And then my business page is actually in the bio of that, but it's Balayza Beauty. That's BALAYCA, and then the word beauty. And then Next to Nothing is my new line that I'm coming out with. So that's at NEXS, and then the word 2, and then nothing. And that's pretty much all of my social media. So yeah, and then on Facebook, Jazzy Courtney.
Okay, awesome. And you all, I forgot to tell you that Jazzy she actually crossed over on our first line as well, because as she mentioned, I kept changing things and decided that, I wanted to create a sisterhood. My last question is, will you ever get on the runway again?
No, I really don't see myself doing it.
And I see it in your face too. I see it.
Really?
I see, and no, like in your answer, it was like, no. You get what I'm saying?
It's
wow.
Like, I really don't. And it's so crazy. I'm going to always have that model side about me because I'm always in front of people. I want to make sure I keep a presentable frame, but as far as actually getting on someone's runway to actually rip the runway, I really don't see myself doing it. I can't see it. I can't.
Hey, look, well, on that note, you all, thank you for tuning into another edition of Model Talk Tuesdays. We want to thank our amazing guest today, Jazzy Courtney. Stay true to yourself. Look, if you've moved on and you've evolved and now you've had a greater platform as a producer and that's what you want to do, hey, learn from Jazzy. She is doing it. So you all, will see you next week for another amazing guest. And thank you again for tuning in. All right, Jazzy, I will see you. I'll see you around. You're everywhere. I just see it growing and growing and growing and growing. So
I'll see you at the show. I'll be at the show. I'll see you.
So see you at the show.
All right.
All right, love.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Oh, Janice, what to say? Yeah.